Palmer again. Palmer
Set
again.
piece FC. Set
Palmer
piece
again.
FC. I don't mind. I'm happy to be set piece FC.
We just score penalties.
So City dropping points again. What did you make of that?
Yeah, it's weird. Like, they draw 2-2 with Palace, and I just don't flinch. It just seems normal.
Is Rico.
Is Rico?
Is Rico. Is Rico. Is Rico.
Nice weather.
Yeah.
Sunny in it. Nice weather, sunny in it. Do you know what that is?
No. What is it? Some young
It's a
thing.
clip of when Rashford apparently met Neymar for the first time in the tunnel. He didn't have anything to say to him. He said, "Oh, nice weather, sunny in it."
Please keep that in. Hello and welcome to the Know the Score podcast. Do keep that bit in. My name is Luke Kempner, and of course, Harry Daniels is here as well. Harry, how are you, man?
I'm doing good.
Very good.
Chelsea winning. Chelsea second in the table.
Oh, the Cheshire grin is there.
Palmer again. Palmer again. Palmer again. Ole, ole.
At least do it with some vibrato. Palmer again.
You can sing it.
Palmer again. Ole, ole.
You can sing about set
Set
pieces.
piece FC. Come on. Listen, we're here to review Gameweek 15's round of fixtures. There's just been goals galore. Thank you for everyone who joined the live that we did on Thursday morning. That was really successful. We're definitely going to do more of those. And we've got some stat that neither of us understand, where we've basically been in the top 10 of podcasts
In the world.
in the world ever
Yeah.
of all time.
Yeah.
Top 10 football over the last 6. This is like the stat when they're like, you know,
You cut it to-
Iwobi on a Tuesday night has got more crosses than any player in Europe. But something about the podcast is doing well.
Yeah.
Is that right?
And we've been in the top 10 football podcasts, I
Okay.
think, at least 3 times since we've started.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Is
fantastic.
Rico.
And yeah,
Is Rico.
thank you all very much. The live did go really well.
Is Rico Lewis?
What?
Is Rico.
Oh, it was Rico.
Is Rico.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
It was Rico Lewis.
Yeah.
I might just answer every question just like, is Rico.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
He's losing his mind. He's absolutely losing his mind. A big shout out to Talk FPL as well. We asked if anyone wanted to share the podcast on Twitter to do so, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
For that. Before we get in, 300 likes is the aim. Subscribe if you are new. We are very close now to 3,000 subscribers, and rate us 5-star on podcast as well. And if you want to get involved with the show, leave any comments on Spotify, Apple Music, if you can do it there, and on YouTube.
You got some comments to read out?
No, not this week, because last week was live.
Live.
Yeah, it was
We
live.
read them out. We read them out live.
Yeah.
Oh God, you've not knocked the microphone again, have you?
Yeah, but it'll be fine.
Okay.
It's all going up.
No, but that's from the camera.
No, but I not this. This doesn't do anything.
All right. So
Yes, so
busy week of fixtures. We usually have a question, right, that we talk about at the top, and like, favorite football memory or whatever. We're going to get to that in the middle. But Harry just said weather. Full stop.
well, we didn't have one for the start.
So we're literally going to talk about the weather.
It was stormy.
Sunny, innit?
It was stormy. It was nice weather, sunny in it.
Do you think it's though? Is this the storm that you predicted with the Storm Nino thing? Or is that something different?
I think it's just by coincidence.
Oh right, okay.
But it was stormy this weekend.
It was very windy.
And Everton-Liverpool got postponed just because Liverpool didn't want to play away from home in a Merseyside derby at 12:30 because they didn't want to risk it ruining their title charge, having dropped points midweek. So they used it as an excuse.
Do you know what? Here's the question then. Do you think it's better that the game is postponed for Liverpool?
Worse.
Or worse?
Worse.
Why do you think it's worse?
It's a very quick turnaround for them. In those conditions, at the last Goodison Park, I don't think would have suited Liverpool's play.
So you think it was better that it was postponed?
For Liverpool, yes. Worse for
Right.
us.
Oh, right.
Worse for other
Oh, you think
title-
you're in the title race still, don't you?
Well, we're 2 points above you. I think several above
Arsenal will
City now.
finish above Chelsea this year.
All right, but you have to start scoring goals that aren't set pieces at some point.
Okay, yeah. Oh, they're not goals, are they, when they're set pieces?
No. They don't
Tension
count.
in the room. If you're listening, there you can hear the tension.
cut it
And
with
if
a
you're-
knife.
And if you're looking, you can see the tension. Yes. So I actually think that it is worse for Liverpool because that fixture is now going to be, Sky are going to be making sure that fixture is at prime time, right? So it's going to be snuck in amongst a quarterfinal or a Champions League semi-final. When Liverpool are knackered, Salah might be injured, Van Dijk might be injured by that point. At this point, they're all fit, ready to go, bang in form. I think they'd have beaten Everton pretty easily. Where who knows what the situation will be like later on in the season. Under the lights at Goodison Park.
I know. Can't wait. Sky they'll get Peter Drury out for that one. Big time.
Oh, God, of course they will.
Yeah.
I love Peter Drury. I don't know, oh, God, but yeah. What was the ones that they had this weekend? can't remember someone. I can't
He had
remember.
the Chelsea Spurs game.
Yeah, but there was another one that someone quoted that I now can't remember. Anyway, talking of that game.
Yes.
Shall we start with that game?
Game of the weekend.
The game that I
absolutely.
predicted was going to be 4-4.
And I predicted it would be 3-2.
So I'm closer.
Well, I got the correct result.
I'm closer.
Okay.
Tell us what you thought of the game. Did you go?
I didn't go, no. So
I went this week. I went to Fulham away. Yeah,
wow.
cool.
So yeah, it was, apart from, I have to say, I don't want to like big us up too much, but it was felt very one-sided, apart from Cucurella falling over twice inside the first 10 minutes and Sanchez diving out of the way of the first goal.
So he was back in goal then?
Yeah, so he only got rested midweek because he made a lot of
But you
changes.
like the other geezer.
Oh yeah, big time. And this performance again highlights that Jorgensen should be our number one. But yeah, Cucurella slips. They go 1-0 up early on. And that one is like a direct, because he slips, they cross it in and they put it in. And then the second one is he falls over and they win the ball, but they still do enough from that. Like Kulusevski does really well. We don't close him down and he sneaks it in at the near post.
Yeah.
And then you're 2-0 down after 10 minutes and Cucurella's running off the pitch, shouting at the kit man, changing his boots really quickly.
He flung them off his feet.
He did. He was not happy.
He was livid.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what you think about that, but
He's like, come on, my boots!
But like, do you not have a
I need no
warm-up?
boots!
Do you not do a warm-up in boots to know if this thing's going to happen or not? Like, surely you know before the game if you've got the right boots on.
Bad workman always blames his tools.
Yeah.
All right?
Cucurella's not a bad workman.
He just slipped over.
Yeah.
The boots!
But then he didn't slip over for the rest of the game with the new boots on.
Yeah, but he might not have done with the old boots.
Probably would have done, given it happened twice in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But then from then on out, like we played really well.
Yeah.
Lavia in central midfield was really good until he got elbowed in the head.
Yeah.
Caicedo, I'm going to just say before we talk about the result, Caicedo should have been sent off. Like, it's high.
Yeah.
They said it wasn't excessive force, which is why they didn't send him off. But I think it's a red card because it's very high. But I also think Kulusevski's is a red card. There's no one ever tackles with their elbow up there. And he should have gone as well.
Yeah. That was awful, that.
Yeah.
Kulusevski knows exactly what he's doing.
He knows exactly what he's doing.
That's nasty, that.
Lavia had been the best player on the pitch.
And he came off, didn't he?
He did. Partly because he had a cut to his head. That's how hard he hit him.
Yeah.
But actually...
Can you imagine that?
I know.
A Premier League footballer running at you full speed and then elbowing you in the head.
Yeah. But actually, him going off at half time, despite how good he was, I think won us the game. Because we were playing with Caicedo at right back, inverting into central midfield, which is absolutely fine, like in certain games. But in a game like that, Caicedo in central midfield was so good in the second half. Gusto came on. We swapped our centre-backs over because Badiashile was playing right side and just was feeling very uncomfortable on his own, like several times, like trying to pass it out with his left foot to the right back was just really uncomfortable. But then second half, we got the Sancho goal just before the break, which was really like
Sancho
a great
start?
Yes. Yeah. Sancho and Neto were our wingers. So like good to go into the break with that. And then just second half, we just absolutely like turned it on. We controlled the midfield really well. They didn't have anyone in their midfield that wanted the ball because like they didn't play Maddison. So they really, really struggled to keep the ball. And we just, dominated in the centre of the park, turned it over really quickly. And, you know, sometimes when you are controlling a game and you win the ball back, you kind of, rest on your laurels a little bit. As soon as we got the ball, it was constantly going forward. And then they just did stupid things like that Basuma tackle for the first penalty. Like, what on earth are you doing?
Yeah.
Palmer scores. Then Palmer did really well for the third goal, and it's a great finish by Enzo Fernandez. And then Sarr, whereas Palmer's going nowhere for the last penalty, and Sarr just pushes him over. And it's like, well...
I love the Panenka.
Oh, it's
the great thing is
of it.
if you've seen this, like Forster like dives, the Panenka hasn't even crossed the line at that point.
No,
he gets up and has a chance to get the best view in the stadium.
He has the best. He gets up and he looks at it going in the goal.
It's so weird
basically.
that he doesn't have another go.
Oh, he's just
I know he probably wouldn't have got to it.
He's just mate.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
But Ange, he weren't happy afterwards. Obviously, and he goes, "Yeah, well, no, we got so many injuries, mate. You know, it's not very easy when your best centre back goes off after 15 minutes. We didn't want to play Mickey van der Ven for longer than 65 minutes. We had to play him. He played nearly the whole game, didn't he?
Well, yeah, but it feels like Ange is under pressure.
He is under pressure. Spurs fans are livid with this season. Livid.
So they played Van der Ven and Romero, who are both obviously not fit. Like Romero was... apparently only had half a training session. Van der Ven, they'd hoped to get back on the bench for Thursday night, and he's just been out with a hamstring injury, and now they've both gone off. Romero lasted 15 minutes before he redid the injury, and Van der Ven lasted, 75? Like, he's absolutely forced them back.
Van der Ven's fine.
Okay.
But Romero, the World Cup winner.
But it also could have gone horribly wrong, and Van der Ven could have pulled his hamstring again. Like, he's felt bang under pressure. Like, when I saw the lineup, I was like, oh, that's really annoying. And then as the game got closer, I was like, they've forced them back and they're not fully fit. And then as soon as Romero went off, you were like, they forced them back. Was not a great performance by them. Like, the scoreline massively flatters them because of the 2 goals we gave up really early on.
But see, from some of the stuff that I've seen online and reports I've read, is that, and from watching it, Chelsea conceded a lot of chances.
Yeah, we do, because we do stupid stuff defensively, and I say this most weeks.
But as somebody who's walked in today with a big grin and very confident, and you've been damning of Arsenal and Chelsea are serious, Chelsea are back. You can't concede that many chances and win the league, because the games are going to come where you don't manage to score enough goals.
Yeah. But like, we are creating the chances. Like, I showed you that stat before we came in of over the last 8 weeks, expected goals from open play, and we're top.
Yeah.
We have the most XG from open play of any team in the league over the last 8 weeks.
You got about 18 XG against Southampton.
Yeah, well, that does help it. We got
Stats
5.5 against that.
Yeah, well, there you go.
And then we played Spurs.
Oh.
But still, like, we do have the firepower going forward, and then, like, late on in games,
turns out, man, if you spend 1.3 billion on a team,
some of them will be good.
It could work out.
Who'd have thought? And Caicedo is turning into, like, just been so good for us. Almost for, like, it's been focused quite a lot on this year.
Yeah.
This sort of football season, but since the beginning of 2024, he's been really, really good. And Maresca is building a very strong team, but we do make a lot of defensive errors, and it's only a matter of time, I think, before we see a change in our goalkeeper.
What about Enzo Fernandez as an FPL option?
Yeah, I mean, he started to look really good. I know there's just been the whole thing that he's been going through a divorce for quite a long time, and it's finally settled over the past couple of months. Yeah. And that is when we've started to see him play pretty well.
That does sort of make sense in that, like, not to go into the details of his marriage, but it's like, if I've had an argument with my wife, like, it affects my performance in Les Miserables.
Okay.
Like, I try to sort of leave it at the door, but you're thinking about it. You're stressed about it.
Yeah.
And times that by 1,000,000 if it's a divorce.
And he's given the license to go forward a little bit more, which is suiting him, because he's not always the best defensively. But with having, like, we always invert one fullback, so basically he just gets to go and play in a number 10 alongside Palmer, and he's loving life.
And he's 4.9.
He's our captain, and he is absolutely, you can see he's well up for it at the moment.
Would you be tempted?
Which is great. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've already got double Chelsea attacks. That might be a bit overkill, but yeah. What did you think of it? And what do you think it means for? I know, like, we joke and like we were saying, oh, at some point they'll put us at Chelsea in the title race, and then it's all it's taken is this weekend, and suddenly they're putting us in it.
Listen, I'd rather talk about it from a Tottenham point of view, in that, like, I look at when Tottenham beat City 4-0, we were going, they've cracked it. Yeah. They've cracked it. They're so good going forward. They force oppositions to make mistakes because they just fly at you. Yeah. And then obviously they've lost 3 out of the next 4 games. Yeah. And I've sort of tried to be like, because I know a lot of Tottenham fans are really angry at this season. Yeah. They're like, we didn't buy enough backups. No. But then it's just like, well, most teams don't have 2 incredible goalkeepers. I know Liverpool have got Kelleher and he's brilliant, but and like City have got Ortega and he is good. Yeah. But most teams, you what?
Or is he?
Yeah. Oh no, Arsenal got Neto. I don't want Neto playing because you presume your keeper's going to play all the way through the season.
I mean, I don't want our first choice playing.
Well, yeah, but so I think to be a bit annoyed that Fraser Foster's in is like, well, he wasn't supposed to be because
I actually don't think he played that bad.
Yeah, apart from watching the Penenguin. No, so like, I don't see where that you can be angry at it. I know that they are at this point now where they're just like, Levy has done enough. He has built a fantastic stadium, a fantastic business off the pitch, but he's been there 23 years now. They've won 2 Carabao Cups or Worthington Cups or whatever they were when he won them. Audi, he's won 2, one Audi Cup. So, but it has to get to a point where, like, they can't change the manager again. No. Because he's making them play good football. But he's got to be pragmatic. I know he's got to learn that you can't just go hell for leather in every game.
They won't win anything with him as manager.
No, but they had Mourinho, they had Conte, they maybe not so much Nuno, but it's like they've gone and got the best managers in the world, and it hasn't worked because off the pitch. And I've always been someone that's argued, but Levy does spend money, but their wage structure, they don't pay anywhere near amount that the teams pay who are competing for the title.
But do you think the players? Do you think it's not a good enough squad then?
I think it's not. I don't think they've got good enough backups.
Okay.
I think Ange just needs. They're so good when they go forward, when it's all working. But it just seems like he's just like, all this. This is just who we are, mate. Yeah. Well, fine, but you're okay then.
And
are you happy that you're going to win half your games and lose half your games
and not win anything, and then eventually get sacked because you'll just go for 3 or 4 years?
I always win something in my second season.
Literally, they'll just go 2 or 3 seasons with them doing the same again, and they'll finish maybe where they're 11th.
But I think I saw the stat that it's like in the 23 years Levy's been there, and he's had a manager every 18 months.
Yeah.
I mean,
and like that would be acceptable if you were winning stuff.
Yeah, says the Chelsea fan.
Well, it would be slightly more acceptable if the turnover, you saw like quick improvements, you won something, and then it went sour. But you're just turning it over and you're not finding a solution.
In the week, Ange was fighting with the Tottenham fans, arguing with Tottenham fans. I mean, I don't think the anger should be aimed at Ange.
Do you not?
No, I think the anger should be aimed at the structure of this club. Is not built to win anything.
How do you aim anger at the structure of a club?
You turn around and you say, Levy, you muppet. Do you silly man? And that's what I'm sure the fans are saying.
True. But then I do also think that if you're going to manage Spurs, you need to be more pragmatic. Like, it is just like...
I think I've just changed my cheer. It's just like, since we've been doing this podcast, I've constantly been like, well, they've spent money. They've got Maddison. He's brilliant. Brendan Johnson. They've spent 65 million on Solanke. They are spending money. So I don't understand why it is all the blame that goes at Levy. But everywhere you read, that's where people say the anger is.
I think there's anger towards Ange. Like, you're 2-0 up. Anger. They're 2-0 up against Chelsea.
Anger management.
And they look like they're playing for a winner in the 90th minute. Like, what is going on? And they do it every week. Just throw away stuff and give opposition chances. They just are not defensively solid enough. It's just...
I feel like we need to get a Tottenham fan on, because I don't understand what your mentality is as a Tottenham fan, because it's like, are you just like, well, at least we're playing the way we want to see attacking football? No. But none of the fans are feeling like that.
Well, exactly. I think I can understand what the mentality of the fans are, but I don't understand the mentality of what the team are trying to do. Because this is just not good again. And now what? They're, I don't know, like 7 points behind City, 9 points behind you, 11 behind us. So great. So what's the best they're going to do this season again? And then it will just fade out with a whimper.
I feel like there were strides forward last year under Ange, and this season you just saw. But honestly, when they beat City 4-0, I really wouldn't have predicted this happening straight afterwards. But I feel like every Tottenham fan would have predicted it.
But actually, when they lost midweek to Bournemouth, I thought, oh no, they're going to beat us now.
Yeah,
I was like, oh dear.
But you know what? When they went 2-0 up, and I went, they won't win it.
So we went 2-0 up, and then went 2-1. I was like, we can do this. And we went 2-2. I literally shouted at the telly, go on Chelsea, go and win it now.
Yeah.
And you could just see it was going to happen. We had plenty of time in that game, and we were creating more than enough chances to go and win that game.
It's just Ange. Because if Maresca's in charge of that squad, does that happen?
No. But maybe it's just they've never found the right appointment. And then is that Levy?
Yeah.
So if you're a Spurs fan, please let us know, because we'd love to know your opinion on...
Spurs have confused us.
Obviously, something's not right, because you can't keep putting in performances like this and then beating City and then losing to Bournemouth and losing in this game. Like, Chelsea players, like this interview with Lampard after he left, it's like, what was your favourite ground to go to? It's like, oh, Spurs. We used to call it 3 Point Lane.
Yeah,
and it's like players are still saying it now.
I know.
So yes, I mean, I'm very happy to beat your rivals in a manner like this.
Yeah.
Like, we did leak chances defensively. We are now second in the league, which does feel really nice. Like, it would have bitten your hand off to be anywhere near the top 4 at the start of the season. And it's a group of players that fans are absolutely loving. Like, you see them celebrating that Enzo Fernandez goal, just going crazy. Jackson telling Enzo to keep his shirt on as well, so he doesn't get booked. It's just
maybe he's already got him in FPL.
Yeah, maybe. And that's why he's not getting his 5th yellow card, because he's got Jackson as well. But yeah, there is a real feel-good factor.
Yeah.
And a really exciting...
Is he on 4 yellow cards,
Jackson?
Fernandez?
No, I don't.
Oh, right. I thought that's why we're stopping him taking his shirt off.
So yeah, it's just a real feel-good factor at the moment.
Of course. And happy days, for you guys. Everyone thought it was going to be a bit of a joke season. I certainly thought Chelsea would struggle to transition with a new manager and so many new players. Yeah. And it just haven't. So him and Arne Slot, I mean, flowers to them both.
Yeah.
Shall we move on to the Saturday games?
Yes. One of the best games of the weekend. Brentford 4, Newcastle 2. The G-Tech stadium gives us
The G-Tech Fun Club.
Another absolutely cracking game.
They scored
of
the most
football.
goals at home and the most goals away. Brentford.
Have they?
Yeah.
I mean, look at this, 4-2.
Unbelievable.
Before we get into the game, do you see the like clip of Thomas Frank in the changing rooms at full time?
No.
So there's a really, like, I don't know why it's out, but of him, like, talking to his players, like, congratulating, I think, Norgard on 100 Premier League or 100, I don't know, somethings.
Yeah.
And Pinnock about something else and saying, oh, this player played really well. He comes across so well. That Brentford squad, you can tell, are in a great place and they love him.
Yeah.
And it just gives such a good vibe.
Yeah. And Buemo was absolutely fantastic. But the thing is with Newcastle is it's like, I feel like we've said this before. Maybe we said this in midweek. No, it was the Liverpool game was midweek, wasn't it? Maybe we said it last week, where Newcastle and their fans are so up for it when it's one of the big clubs.
Yeah.
And certainly seems like it with the players as well.
Yeah.
That when they're away against Brentford, they're not doing those basics of where you've got to be switched on constantly. And then you are going to lose to teams in the Premier League. You've got like this. I feel like this is the strongest Premier League ever. As far as across the, I'd say there's like maybe Southampton and Ipswich. Yeah. Everyone else has just got real firepower. Yeah. And Brentford were just able to rip them apart.
There were a couple of chances that that Newcastle missed. Like Isak rounded the keeper, and if that goes in, is the game a little bit different? Yep. But yeah, Brentford.
I just don't think it would be. Brentford just creates so many chances.
Exactly. They're just such a well-oiled machine. Yeah. I think they created like 5 big chances. Newcastle had like 2. It's just how they, it's just how they.
And
play,
they rested, didn't they? They rested Damsgaard.
Yeah.
Who else did they rest?
Schade, I think, just scored a hat-trick.
Schade just scored a hat-trick, and then he scored a lovely, beautiful goal.
Yeah.
And Buemo, it was back to his best.
Yeah.
He was superb. Wies's just, clinical.
Yeah.
Flecken with an assist.
I know. I mean, they still need... I mean, on that goal, I'm not sure... Has a goalkeeper ever assisted a centre-back?
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably not.
But it was interesting when they asked Thomas Frank, they said, why are you so bad away? And he just said, I don't know. I don't know.
Which is fair.
I love him.
Yeah.
I'd like to go for dinner with him.
I think it'd be really fascinating. I think he'll get a lot of, maybe if he wasn't managing in the Prem, like he's been on like Monday Night Football and spoken tactically in those sorts of things. And I think he's so good.
How do you think he would do as Spurs manager?
Better than Ange.
Right. Okay.
But I don't think that's that hard. Yeah. The only thing with Brentford is they're not great defensively. I need to stop leaking goals. Like they could easily have, given away chances.
A bit better defensively, didn't
they?
They
did, yeah. They definitely used to be a few years ago. Maybe it was when they had Raya, so maybe that was Ben Mee and David Raya were slightly better than they've got with Flecken at the moment. But they do need to be a bit more solid defensively.
Yeah.
Newcastle, they dropped Anthony Gordon, as I've said every week. Maybe that's just because he was tired, but I still don't think he knows what his best team is every week. There was a little bit of changing in midfield. Murphy played, Gordon played. That's not Gordon. Barnes played. He did score decent goal.
Yeah.
So, I still feel like I'm not seeing the full Newcastle at the moment.
I just feel like they've got to just be more switched on for every game. If you want to compete for those top 6 places, it's it's so competitive and you just can't switch off at any moment, especially in this busy period.
Well, exactly. And we thought Spurs not doing that well in an 11th. They're level on points with Newcastle, so they've got a couple of games over the next couple which they could get back on it, but
Yeah, and then you're struggling to keep your best players because they need to sell again.
Yeah, and
it's like you want to keep Isak, like you can't be 10th in the league.
But if they don't keep Isak, they'll be bang in trouble.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I mean, he won't go in January, but yeah,
you're linked with them, aren't you?
Yeah, I feel like there's just no way that they're not going to. Every transfer in January is an extra 30 million.
I don't necessarily mean in January. But
Arsenal are linked with him. I worry about his injuries, but then. I mean, I'd love Isak.
As a sort of, if you kept Havertz as well, and we'll get to you guys, that's not bad to have both of them.
Oh my God, it'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Chelsea would have both.
Yeah.
And
play one in the Conference League.
I don't know. I just don't see us going to spend all that money if we're not going to start him every week. So I don't know.
Let's talk about Manchester City dropping points again. Why did it not shock me that they dropped points?
It is Rico.
It's Rico.
It's Rico.
It is.
It's Rico.
Well, do you think it's a red card?
It's Rico.
Oh. So you're saying it's a red card because it's Rico?
Huh? It's Rico.
Okay.
I wasn't surprised, but Palace they've not been beaten in 6 games now.
They're starting to get a bit better.
Starting to, put it together now. The Nketiah experiment didn't work.
No.
Mateta's playing really well up front. They look more solid. Munoz has got his form that he had at the end of last year. It's 2 goals in 3 games now. And City, you can just get at them. It was ever since Fulham just absolutely went at Man City, and everyone went, can we just go at them, and he could probably score some goals. And City again just look a little bit lost.
Yeah. It was just really weird. Like, my main takeaway from this game is I got to full time and they'd drawn 2-2 with Palace, and I didn't flinch. Like, I wasn't like, City have dropped points again. I was like, yeah.
And actually, the way Pep spoke to her, I am so proud of my players. It's a good point.
Yeah,
we take the point.
Yeah, he's like, I'm so proud of them. They played so well. I'm like, did you? You just drawn 2-2 with Palace.
He's so given up on this season, isn't he?
He's won 1 game in 6. I thought Palace did play well.
Yep.
Like, the first goal, Kyle Walker just needs to take his leave, I think. The first goal, he plays Munoz massively onside.
Yeah.
And the second goal, he's marking Lacroix and just doesn't get anywhere near him. They're playing with virtually no defenders, but still, like, Kyle Walker is finally...
I thought Ruben Diaz played well. I thought
Yes.
there was, some really excellent blocks from Ruben Diaz, but...
They're defending, like... I don't know, a bottom of the table team throwing their bodies on the line.
Yeah.
Like, that's not City style of play.
It's not control. It's yeah. I thought it was... Did you think it was a red card for Lewis?
No, I think he's been fouled.
But he does dive in.
Yeah, but he gets trod on.
I know. But the whole point of these, it's like, is it out of control? Yes.
It's not red.
I think it's a yellow. A second yellow.
No, I don't think it's a second yellow.
See, I from everything I heard, it's a recall. And then I watched it and I went, I think that is a second yellow.
I don't think it's a foul. I think it's a City free kick.
Okay.
If anything. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Let's get them dropping more and more points, but I think that's really harsh. And I go back to my point where you should be able to review second yellows with VAR because you get a thing like that and it massively changes the game.
Yeah.
He did score a really good goal before he went and got sent off. Haaland got a goal, which was fine.
Yeah.
But, like, still doesn't look massively at the races, still missed some chances. And the other big thing, like we spoke about it when they played Forest midweek, is why is De Bruyne playing 2 games in 4 days and didn't start Liverpool last weekend? It's the opposite of what Spurs did with Romero and Van de Ven, where they just chucked them in because it was a big game and took the risk. Pep didn't play De Bruyne for months, and then suddenly after the Liverpool game, he's played twice in 4 days. Now, I don't know if that's because Foden's out. Maybe that's forced him to do it. But I thought that was really weird, and he wasn't quite as good. They miss Mahrez. I keep going back to this. Like, their wingers are just not goal threats. Like, basically no one on that pitch is a goal threat apart from Haaland.
But maybe the thing is that, Savinho and Doku are both really good players, but they're not at the level that Man City need them to be yet.
No.
And so, like, if they're gonna put this run together, I don't see it happening this season because they've not got that Mahrez, they've not got that standard of player, and Gundogan's not at the level he was 2 years ago. Yeah. Like, as you say, you weren't surprised by it, and I just watched it and went, I just don't see Man City as a threat.
No.
For the title.
So weird.
It is weird, yeah.
Like, they had 4 fit defenders. Only one of them actually is any good at defending, and that's Ruben Diaz. Gvardio's not.
Yeah.
We've seen that over the past few weeks. Rico Lewis definitely isn't. And Walker is also not.
And then what happens with Ederson now?
Well, Ederson...
he's supposed to be the best one of the best goalkeepers in the world.
And Pep keeps going, he's first choice.
Is Rico?
He is number 1.
So why is he not
what's
going to happen with
And
him?
Ortega was not great. Like, the first goal, I think he should save it.
Surely just, then that's going to cause more trouble.
Apparently Ederson's going to go.
In January?
Oh, I know of January, but he won't be there next year.
Well, not if he's going to get
And he
dropped.
almost went this year.
Yeah.
And probably wishes he did. And I think it won't be the only one.
Yeah.
There'll be a few of those City players.
And Haaland's always, been destined for Real Madrid at some point as well. Like.
Yeah. I mean, I feel a little bit for Haaland because without any other goal threat in the team, teams basically just have to mark Haaland. And if you mark 3 players on Haaland, you wipe out 70% of City's goals. And that is the benefit when you look at the likes of Chelsea at the moment or the likes of Liverpool. There are goals from so many places in the team, which makes it, even when teams double up on Palmer, like, there are other players, and you can double up on Salah. Like, there are other players in that team, but City don't really have that at the moment, and they need to find a solution. But I still don't think they have it until they get to maybe January, and I don't think that will fix it either.
No,
it's great.
Yeah, it is great
for us.
It is great for us, but yeah, unfortunately, Liverpool have taken on what Man City do every year.
Yeah,
yeah.
Next up, Villa, Southampton. Maybe not one we need to dwell on too much. Villa 1, Southampton 0.
Do you know what? Southampton again, I know it doesn't matter because they lost, but for the first half an hour, they were really in control. And I think they can, they must be pretty frustrated because they really didn't look in any trouble at all.
No.
Joanna Lumley in goal and made some good saves, but then caused problems again.
Guess what they did?
Yeah, passed it. Well, John Duran tackles.
Yeah.
And then they're through on goal. And then Joanna Lumley, she runs out, leaves an open goal. And it's a great finish. But I think it was good for Villa again. It's another 1-0. It was good for them. They managed to rotate a bit.
Yes.
Although they bought
Watkins got a break.
They bought 4 players with half an hour to go. But as soon as Watkins came on, like Watkins and Rodgers, and they could have scored.
I think they created 2.5 XG in this game and only scored 1. Like Southampton just gave up so many chances again.
I don't think we've talked enough actually about the weather affecting these games,
yes.
Because we'll get to the Fulham Arsenal game. Like I do feel like the weather affects a lot of these games, and you talk about the Palace game. That stadium at the best of times can be the conditions can affect it, and it's certainly you looked at that Villa game and like the wind and the rain, everything. Have you written that down?
No, but this was the other game that was at threat of being postponed for the weekend. So Aston Villa Southampton was actually one of the games that was, along with the United game, was one of the games that was before they postponed the one on Saturday morning. Liverpool put out a tweet being like, allow more time for travel, and Villa and Man United both did that for their games. So there was, of course, that chance, but
you saw it, and I loved it. Like John McGinn after the game was just like, I really enjoyed that. That was great. A lot of rain. Wind blowing from both ways, the wind blowing against us in both parts of the game. I really enjoyed that. And it just it couldn't be more Scottish than just be like, it's fantastic, this. But so I do think, Villa have got to be happy at sneaking that one.
That's 2 wins on the bounce for them. They felt like they needed a little bit. They've got a big game against Leipzig tomorrow night, which if they win that's 3 on the bounce, 2 in the Prem, 1 in the Champions League, and that feels like a bit of a turning point from them. So they created a lot of chances. I've said it, and I'll say it every week. Southampton play football like they're the best team in the Championship rather than they're the worst team in the Premier League.
And Russell Martin, he came out and he's criticised his players again, and he criticised the fans this week.
So interesting. I saw a comparison to Russell Martin to Vincent Kompany and what Vincent Kompany did when he was at Burnley, and basically sacrificed the team getting relegated for a better future job because he showcases what type of football he can play. And it did make me think that, and we'll talk about when we get to Ipswich. I think Ipswich are doing exactly this, doing similar things. They're playing football like they're the best team in the Championship, not the worst team in the Premier League. And it feels like he is wanting them to keep playing this because he knows that people will see it and be like, well, with our players, we can play that football.
You think is that
I don't think it is that.
narcissistic?
I don't think it is that. But I read it and I was like, if he truly all he wanted, the only sole focus of him was to keep that team in the Premier League, they wouldn't do this because they've done it for 15 weeks and they've given away goal after goal doing what they do. So if he truly all he wanted was, I'm going to stay at this club whether we stay up or go down, they wouldn't still be doing this 15 weeks into the season with 5 points.
Do you think he made an error in criticising the fans? I don't know if you saw this, but he basically said that I saw the fans cheering when Joanna Lumley kicked the ball upfield instead of passing out from the back, and then 15 seconds later they scored from it. So he's like, I don't think they should be cheering that.
No, I mean, it's not.
Great. You've got fans that have travelled all the way to Villa, in Storm Dara, and you've got 5 points, as you just said, from 15 games, and then you're criticising the fans. I wouldn't go anywhere near any of that because us fans are not on your money. No. And I always get annoyed when people say he's on so much money, why didn't he score that? That's just human stuff. But where you can make a decision and understand, never ever ever have a go at the fans. Unless they're Tottenham fans cheering because they lost to City. And
the fans will very quickly turn. And if the fans turn on a team playing like this, then they're
I think they already have now.
Yeah. I mean, at what point do they stop doing this? This is what I mean. Is he just going to keep going until what?
Because how many points? They're 9 points off safety.
Yeah, 8 behind Palace.
8 behind Palace.
1 win, 2 draws, 12 losses, minus 20 goal difference. It's there could have been so much more this weekend as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not great for them. And if they keep playing like this,
we know they're going to go down. But I just think that what do you do then for the rest of the season? It's just I don't see any chance of them staying up. And it's weird because when they're in control, they've got players that can create chances. But it's just they're horrendous at the back.
So bad defensively. Like
And
Jack
maybe
Stevens,
when Ramsdale comes back, maybe that makes a bit of a difference. But like, you know,
they were
he's
doing
not
it
someone
before he got injured.
and he's not someone that's calm on the ball.
No.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the 5:30 kickoff, which was fully within Storm Dara. Manchester United 2, Nottingham Forest 3.
Yeah.
All the Daniels household teams winning this weekend.
Yeah,
Forest, Aston Villa and Chelsea, and a loss for Spurs and Man United really gave me a great weekend.
Oh, I bet it did. Yeah.
Honestly. I mean, what on earth was going on in this game? Amrin must be pulling his hair out every single week. He has got a lot of work to do. It definitely was not his fault that they lost the game.
Changes again. It's just like, you know, he benched Mazraoui, who had been so good in the week. And well, I say so good, but like against Arsenal, the system.
Yes.
We won by 2 set pieces. They looked a little bit more solid. And then to make all of those changes again. And I know Amrim's sort of this thing of like, oh, well, we're going to, there's going to be some pain and he's got to find his team and better to do this now for the future.
And they beat Everton 4-0 and now Rashford's out of the team again.
Yeah.
So it just felt really weird. The first goal was like completely unmarked header from a Forest massive centre-back. It's like, what on earth do? You can't leave him free. But sometimes that happens and they scored that. Then they go and equalise from quite a nice passage of play. It then was a rebound.
I thought it was weird, the celebration.
Why is he doing this? It's like Gladiator, isn't it? It's from the film.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So if you didn't see it, like basically does this sort of slit the throat.
Yeah.
Like thumbs down, slit. Oh, it's a Gladiator.
It's from Gladiator.
Thing. They're all trying to. It's because of Gyökeres and all these and like Palmer's. They're all trying to find a celebration. But I think if you're Man United, you can't have a special celebration right now.
You can't score a special celebration when you're scoring a tap-in rebound.
Yeah.
You can't do that when you've just scored an open goal rebound because the keeper's parried it. Like you can't, and then you go and lose the game. It's like when Havertz shushed us. It's embarrassing.
Well, I just like that it's stuck in your mind forever.
Yeah. And then the next 2 Forest goals, I mean, what is going on?
Yeah.
For Onana, it goes straight at him. And I was like, oh, maybe there's deflection. No. He shoots from the edge of the D, like with a wide open, Onana saw it the whole way, and it goes straight at him. It does deviate a little bit, but it's
just weird. He just sort of waits and watches it go by him. I mean, it's a lovely strike from Morgan Gibbs-White. And I really, really rate Morgan Gibbs-White. Wood again, cracking header.
Really?
You not think?
I think it's calamitous defending again.
Yeah, but I think the angle that Wood manages to get it back, it is bad defending, but I still just can't believe he managed to get that header on target.
Onana sort of watches it go past him.
Martinez.
It then
really
still
does
in,
what-
and
yeah.
Martinez stood on the post, just sort of lets it go in. And people are like, if Onana wants to get it and his centre-back's in the way, he should go through his centre-backs. Push them out of the way, dive through them, do whatever you can. Maybe he just assumes that his other 2 centre-backs are not just going to watch it go in off the post.
Yeah.
But like, what is that? You've just lost 3-2 at home because you've just given 2 goals away and just watched them go in, basically.
Yeah, no, Amorim is certainly realising what the job he's got to do there. And
It's got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, it is. It's a huge amount.
I mean, it was a good performance by Forest.
Yeah.
The scoreline was probably flattering to them because of those 2 chances, but they took their chances well. They defended well. They gave away a couple of chances. Fernandes finished for the 3rd one, was good. Like Selsk should probably save it, but like you,
And I think
you
they've got
can't
the
give.
same. I think they've got the same amount of points as they got last season already.
Well, maybe.
Something like that.
They're on 25 now.
Oh no, so they must have.
They would have gone down.
They would have gone down. But they're certainly like they're going to stay up.
I think they've got as many away from home as they did last year.
Right. But the point being now is like if you're the Forest team, it's like what are you aiming for now? It's like you could. Nuno got Wolves into those European positions. Like maybe they can sneak it.
I worry that if they get Europe, that's bad for them. Because you look at someone like Villa, they are flagging and they have better players and a better squad than Forest do. I think for Forest, the best outcome for them this year is to finish maybe 1 or 2 places outside of Europe, have another good season next year, and build on it and look to finish in Europe next year. Now, if they finish in Europe this year, absolutely no worries. The fans will love it. Away trips in Europe, home trips in Europe are amazing, right?
Yeah.
And the Forest ground will be rocking for it. And that is definitely not a negative, and there'll be money that comes with that. But I worry about what it will do to them with the squad they have if they try and play Europe
as
next
well.
year.
And also just like maybe just put a bit more emphasis on the FA Cup.
Well, exactly. They should be looking to go far in some of these cup competitions now, because I think they need 3 wins between now and the end of the season to stay up.
Yeah. So that's the thing is,
Cool.
like, I mean, obviously they're going to keep pushing for Europe, but I think like these are just the sort of teams that you'd love to see have a little go in the FA Cup.
Well, exactly.
Because then it's not like Man United where they won the FA Cup but they're playing awfully in the league. So it's like there was clearly a problem. There's no problems at you know, and they're even, you know, behind the scenes they're doing more and more work to keep growing the club and grow the group. But you know, have a real go.
Exactly.
In the
And
FA Cup.
if they, you know, get tired for the week for the next game because they've played hard in the cup, so what? Like they're fine.
Yeah.
So that's probably what I would say with them. I of course, if they want to go for Europe, absolutely go for it. They are capable of doing it, and they're playing really well. But I wonder if it would be a tough year for them next year if they got European football.
Now it's the Manchester derby next week. So two teams that are woefully out of form.
I look forward to hearing your prediction for that one.
Yeah, I mean, I
have no idea. It's at the Etihad.
I think it's good. Yeah, I mean, I've
predicted City win.
I predicted a 2-1 City win, but I don't know.
Yeah, they didn't look great this weekend.
But then
but
it's
nor
like,
did City.
So if United, that's 3 losses already. Honeymoon period, and they sacked Dan Ashworth.
Yeah,
because he wanted
quit.
Southgate. Oh, did he quit?
He quit.
Oh, I thought they sacked him.
No, Dan Ashworth quit.
Right.
Didn't like what was happening within 5 months and quit.
Wow.
Yeah.
I heard some rumours that he was interested in the Arsenal taking over from Edu.
Maybe, but he obviously has been there 5 months, does not like what's going on. I don't think he wanted Amorim, and now he's quit. 5 months, that doesn't feel
good. Like the Amorim honeymoon period has been lasted a week, and now it's already back to a mess.
It lasted for when they beat Everton 4-0, and that's more on Everton.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's see if it gets any better. But City next week. Then they've got, I think, Bournemouth, and we'll get onto them. That is no easy game
exactly.
at the moment.
No, of course. Are they away to Bournemouth?
Home to Bournemouth.
Yeah.
I mean, if they were away to Bournemouth, that would be a real issue.
No, they're at home to Forest and they lost. So, yeah. And they're 13th. It's the lowest they've ever been. Oh, they've been since like 1985 or something like that, when Sir Alex Ferguson took over.
I mean, 1 point behind Spurs.
13th. Man United. It's like you look at that now and you're like, oh, you've seen them have some slow starts over the last couple of years. They're 13th after 15 games.
This is their worst season since like 1986 or whatever.
Yeah. And it was when Sir Alex Ferguson took over.
This table gives me such joy.
Really?
I look at the whole table and there's not much in it that doesn't make me happy. Okay. Like Chelsea 2nd, Forest 5th, Villa 6th.
Yeah.
Spurs 11th, Man United 13th.
Yeah.
It's just great.
Yeah.
I'm having a great time.
How far are they above the relegation zone?
Quite a lot, 10 points.
Oh.
Fortunately for them, there are some god-awful teams in this league as well.
I do think they'll lose those next two.
Yeah. Right, before we get onto the games on Sunday, please a little reminder to like the video if you haven't already. We are trying to hit 300 likes. Subscribe if you are new, and rate us 5-star on podcast if you have not already. Topic of the week. Want to get the listeners involved in. Yes. I want to know your favourite footballing memory. Hopefully match going, but if you are not a match going fan.
Because we've got a lot of international listeners and viewers, so it's like, you know, not everyone can get to go to games. Also, it's so expensive. But this sort of came from like, this was my first match of the season. Because I'm in the musical that swept the world, I don't get a chance to go to the games. I have to watch them at home or watch them during the show in my dressing room. But yesterday I was very lucky because my sister-in-law's next door neighbour is a Fulham season ticket holder. Okay. So I went along with him and his son, who's 15, who genuinely knows more about football than any pundit I've seen ever. And well, definitely more than me. It's incredible.
Actually, to be fair, there are some pundits that don't know much about football.
But honestly,
talk about Jamie Carragher's punditry on the Liverpool Chelsea on the Spurs Chelsea game this weekend is really embarrassing. Just to go on to that. How on earth? He's so biased.
Oh, I know.
To anyone that is anywhere near Liverpool. Yeah. He's like, oh, that Caicedo wants a red card. Oh, and then the Kulusevski ones, that's an accident.
Yeah, I know.
Didn't mean that.
Do the voice.
I was going to do Ange. Ange was...
Yeah. No, I know, but I always think like, you know, when Arsenal beat Liverpool...
I can do Colleen Uni now.
Yeah, I know. Just put a bit more of that. You've got Jamie Carragher.
It's got to be a red card.
Yeah,
he's gone in high.
Okay. Yeah, but it was the seat last season when Arsenal beat Liverpool and Odegaard like got a selfie with the camera or was taking a picture and he was like, get down the tunnel. But when Liverpool like score a winner, he's like, oh, it's amazing. I did enjoy the watch along.
Cucurella slipping the whole time. He's like, you can't do that. This is professional football.
Actually, I'm really annoyed. I asked you to do the voice now.
Professional football.
He's a professional footballer.
He can't be slipping over.
You've done the warm up. You should know what boots you're wearing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. So yes, so favourite. So I got to go to the match, you know, and it just reminded me of how much more you see when you go to the game. And my favourite, I think mine's not about memory. Mine's sort of like my favourite thing about the match going experience.
Okay,
is just that you can see the players in the flesh, and you realise the speed of it.
Yes,
because on telly, I don't think you get quite the grasp of the speed of it. And you know, we're going to move on to the Arsenal game, but the players get no time on the ball, especially when they're a really good side like Fulham and they're absolutely at it. There's no margin for error. Yeah. You've got to make the tiniest, most precision passes, and there's just no time at all. Yeah. It's proper elite level stuff.
Watching football on telly versus in the stadium is so different.
It is.
I mean, for me, because I go to Chelsea a lot. I have a season ticket, so I'm there every week. And when you go in the middle of winter and it's freezing and it's dark under the lights, that is like, we've got Brentford at home on Sunday evening at 7:00, and I cannot wait. Like, I'll go there, I'll be freezing, I'll have my coat on, I'll probably have my hat and my scarf, and I will sit there, and it will be just
it's the best.
I cannot wait. Like, that is just
it is the one thing I do.
I'm so lucky.
That does frustrate me about working in theatre is that I don't get to go as much. Like, so I've got a season ticket, but luckily the guy sitting next to sells it to his best mate. But I really miss it because it's just that thing of like being sat around with people that you know and you've got to know over like 5-10 years or sometimes longer, and just it's just so different in a stadium. And I also feel like, you know, having gone to the Arsenal Fulham game, like, I don't feel it's as, you know, Arsenal dropped some points, and it's like when you just follow it on Twitter and you follow it watching it and you hear the pundits, you might go, oh, that's it, Arsenal out of the title race. But when you're sat in the state, you don't feel like, you're like, other teams are going to drop points here. Yeah. You know.
Yeah. In terms of your favourite match day that you've been to, what would you put first there?
Okay, so I'll go, because it's so easy to go, a winning goal, But I'd say my favourite memory, and I think a lot of people's memories will be from when they were kids and they first went to games, was being sat second row at Highbury and seeing Thierry Henry run past me live and going, I cannot believe how quick that guy is. And just going, it was like seeing a freak. I've never seen something so magnificent. And seeing Thierry Henry at full speed with the ball fly past me. So that's my favourite memory, and I'll never forget it. Yeah. What about you?
I mean, mine's boring.
Champions League winner.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, of course. And I get that. And that's amazing.
Being in Porto I tell Holly it's the best night of my life.
Really?
Best day of my life. And it will remain that.
Yeah, exactly. With those with your marriage planned.
Yeah, exactly. It will remain that for now. But going there, it was my first ever away game, excluding Wembley. To fly as well to go abroad to it in the midst of COVID. We weren't favourites to win it and beat Manchester City. It was just
of course, it's amazing. You know,
in terms of home games, I remember last year. Remember when we beat United 4-3? That was bouncing. We scored twice in that time. But that one in Porto is the top. But let us know. Let us know what yours are.
And try to go for something. I mean, I know you've gone for a lovely winning goal, but I quite like those little specific things you like. I went and watched the training yesterday before and I just sitting there, just watching them ping the ball in, seeing how massive Havertz is, and I just love all of that. It's beautiful. Yeah. And they're really good at Fulham as well. Like Charlie, who I went with, he's got 3 match-worn shirts because the Fulham players are really good at going to the kids because you can stand right by the tunnel and they're really good at spending time with them. And I think that's good. And they said that when Man City were there, apart from Kyle Walker, they were awful. And they none of the players acknowledged any of the little fans. And it's it takes them 2 minutes and means the world to these people for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, I'm surprised Kyle Walker did it.
Well, yeah.
Anyway.
So we move on to the game.
Yeah. So let's have a look at some of the games from Sunday.
Was I flashing some skin? Was that what you were?
Sorry, I tried to do it subtly.
No. Never with me.
Ipswich, Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Ipswich won.
So we're not going to do Arsenal first? They were 2:00.
Oh yeah. All right.
Come on now.
So Ipswich, Bournemouth.
Oh yeah, of course. There's three games.
All right, let's do Arsenal first.
All right, do Arsenal first. Okay, so
set piece again.
Set piece FC. I love all of this. I find it so amusing that fans are sort of using it as a thing to kick Arsenal's butt because they're like, he's going to get his stat out now about open play. But it's you're allowed to score from set pieces.
You are. It would help if you scored from open play as well, though.
Well, yeah, but we didn't need to against Man United.
No, luckily Man United.
And actually, it was a couple of Partey missing a header in this game.
A header, shock.
I know, but that's fine.
Yeah.
What if you didn't have penalties? You would have lost to Spurs.
Yeah, if Kruger had the right boots on, we would have beaten them
Oh,
easily.
I mean, if Auntie had, she would have been a bike. But so
how does it go? If my granddad,
if my auntie had wheels, she would have been a bike.
No, the one from the guy at the Liverpool game. If my auntie had balls, she'd be my uncle, but she's not. So you get me? I do if buts and maybes, not absolute.
This is your favourite, but it's your best impression, actually.
Thanks.
So listen, Fulham were fantastic, and I do think Arsenal deserve to win it. I do.
Do you?
Yeah, I do think Arsenal deserve to win it just because I think in the second half, Fulham were hanging on a little bit. I think Arsenal created some good chances. Things just didn't really go our way. But in the first, I did think Fulham was so organised.
Yes.
And every time Arsenal had a lot of the ball, but Fulham, bang, they're right in everything. And they were so up for it. The atmosphere was amazing. And they're without their the best centre backs, and Bassi and can't remember his name, were so good, and they defended really, really well. And Jimenez held the ball up so well. Where they were struggling was when Leno was trying to pass it out, and that's why Arsenal got rid of Leno in the first place. He's a brilliant keeper, and the amount of times he came out and caught the ball, he got Fulham that point.
Yeah.
But then he started to kick it long. And Jimenez did so well up against Saliba. But what's concerning, we talked earlier about how Spurs forced Romero, and I feel like if we sort of forced some weird positional, some weird positions.
Yes.
Put Partey at right back so we could play Timber at left back. Because I think Zinchenko didn't want to.
He wasn't in the squad.
Zinchenko wasn't in the squad, but Tierney was on the bench.
Yeah.
And I know Tierney hasn't played for 100 years, but it's like, Timber on the right hand side has been so good for us in this last 4 games, and then you go and put Partey at right back, which takes out all of our creativity.
Yeah.
Not all of it, but he is so important when he plays in the centre of the park. So then you've shunted him out to the right back, and that exposes Kivior as well. And so all of that, and I still think we defended pretty well.
Yeah.
But I think you take away a lot of the creativity and from Timber and from Partey, and I think that's what we really struggle with. You say our XG was really low without the set pieces, and it was. It's unfortunate because I think Saka almost scores the winner, and I hear that everyone has said that Martinelli was dopey for being offside.
I mean, it's a position you're not running in behind, so you don't need to run the risk of being offside. So it's just really naive.
Mad stuff like that.
I mean, the stat I'm referring to, for people wondering, is Arsenal are, over the last 8 games, Arsenal are third bottom from open play XG. They've created 0.79 XG per match over the last 8 weeks, and they are second top for set piece XG over the same period. So it is just a little bit of, that open play creativity. But if Martinelli's on side and that goal does go in, then that will massively boost you up because there's not much between you and the teams down there. The only thing I thought is I'm a big Saliba fan. I think he's fantastic, but I don't think he did well for the Fulham goal. Right. I think Jimenez is right-footed, and he's a dominant right-footed player. Yeah. He doesn't want to be embarrassed with Jimenez cutting back in and so embarrassing him. Score, so he just lets him. He doesn't go into the tackle enough. Yeah. And by the time he's getting into the tackle, Jimenez is going to shoot.
It's a great finish.
It is a really good finish, but he should know that Jimenez wants to shoot on his right foot, and he should be across that before he's even had the opportunity. That's the only thing. But then he scores. Havertz should score the header in the first place, but he doesn't. Robinson fortunately plays him on side by just a toe. There were a few other chances, but I think it was probably fair. Like, they were very good in the first half. You had a lot of the second half, but
I mean, I'm obviously disappointed with Liverpool not playing, and obviously Chelsea winning, and it just felt like the game was there to win, and I thought we had won it. Yeah. So and I had Saka in my fantasy team. So all of it, I was a little bit disappointed at the end. But like I was saying earlier, none of this is terminal. We dropped some points. Teams are going to drop points this season. It's not like the seasons we've had when Man City go and win 15 games in a row. That's just not going to happen this season. And Liverpool are going to have a drop-off at some point. I think these contract situations, I know Salah's now been offered a contract.
Yeah, it sounds like he's getting to your deal.
Well, I don't know. I think they've made an offer because he can start signing pre-contracts in January. I do think they're going to stay, him and Van Dijk, but I do think it's going to. I think it is going to affect them. So I'm not that concerned that Arsenal dropped some points. We won 4 games in a row and got a draw. We'll finish above Chelsea.
All right.
Do you want to put a bet on it?
One team's not dropping points. Yeah, I think we should. Actually, someone said that in the comments last week.
Did they?
There should be a forfeit.
Okay.
For whoever finishes lower. I do think I'm going to lose this forfeit, but.
Okay. So, okay. Nice. Okay. So what should the forfeit be?
You have to do First episode next season in a Chelsea shirt.
Oh, I mean, I've worn a Chelsea shirt before.
God.
Yeah, a goalkeeping shirt when I was about 9. Write in the comments what do you think the forfeit should be, within reason.
Yes.
But I mean, listen, wearing the opposition shirt. I mean, it would be funny to see you in an Arsenal shirt, but I feel like that's done quite a lot.
Okay.
I feel like Carragher's always wearing a shirt that isn't Liverpool at the moment.
If he could just get off the telly in the first place, that'd be ideal.
But yeah, go on, write in. Tell us what it should be.
Next up, Ipswich. Let's go to Ipswich.
Yep.
Ipswich Bournemouth, another team who are playing as if they are the best team in the Championship rather than one of the worst teams in the Premier League. They refuse to have any centre-backs on the bench.
Yeah, you were telling me about this. It's weird.
So this comes about because a lot of us own Greaves in FPL, and he's either starting or he's not in the squad. And it basically came out a couple of weeks ago. McKenna was asked about it. Why do you not have any centre-backs on the bench? He said, because I want players who can change the game and be dynamic. And it was going to come and bite him at some point. And being 1-0 up when you've just lost 2 games 1-0 at 80 minutes and not being able to make an improvement defensively by having a centre-back on the bench and then going and losing the game 2-1 is... You can't do it.
It's also like you've got 7 subs now.
Yeah.
I understand, I would understand it more if there was 5 subs. It's like you've got 7 subs.
Yeah.
How many dynamic players do you need?
Exactly.
I think that's mad.
I think it's mad. And it's come to fruition that it's madness. Bournemouth, they create chances, and they've actually done it a couple of times late. Like they did it against Everton earlier on in the season, and they went and did it again here, just creating chances late. And they did, and they went and won the game. There were a few chances in there for Ipswich earlier on that they could have gone a second goal up, but yeah, it just felt like a real one that they've let slip. Having dropped points to Palace and Forest over the past couple of weeks, 1-0, being 1-0 up at 80 minutes and losing from there because you can't assure up defensively will feel like a real dagger to them. I think. Because they've got
the only team to not win at home.
Yeah, their fixtures have been really good, and they're about to go. They've got Wolves away next weekend, which will be huge. Newcastle, Arsenal, Chelsea, Fulham, Brighton, City after that now. So, these 3 games where they've just dropped points have,
But on the Bournemouth side of things, that they're 3 points behind Man City, 3 points off 4th.
Yeah.
I think they're 8th in the league. It's just exceptional. Iraola.
They've been really, really good.
Yeah. Good signings. Kirk has had a really good chance early doors. He's looking really threatening him from the left-hand side.
There's links with him in Liverpool.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in that left-back spot.
Now, we watched this game together, and so you think there was a penalty?
I think the Kluivert one's a penalty.
Yeah.
But I can't see from the replays an angle that clearly says whether there's contact or not. But I can't believe that Kluivert is gone down in the way he has.
How would he know?
Without there being contact, because the player is behind him.
Yeah. For those of you who haven't seen this, basically the player, whoever it was behind him, takes an air kick.
Yeah.
But Kluivert goes down, and Kluivert goes back to him.
Yeah.
So I feel he clearly feels something on the back of his Achilles, and then goes down, and they don't even look at it.
If it's just like this,
don't play footsies with me.
Is that enough for it to be a penalty?
Yeah, maybe if he feels like the tiniest bit of air, he just goes, "Oh, I'll go down." But it didn't look like that. It looked like he went down in real pain.
Yeah, I agree. So I thought that would be a penalty.
It didn't matter. They won 2-1.
Yeah.
Bournemouth exceptional. They keep rolling on.
And of course, we didn't talk about it, but they beat Spurs midweek.
Yeah.
Big 1-0 win for them there.
Spurs very, very poor.
Slanky going back to Bournemouth, and I wonder where he'd rather be at the moment. But I know we've spoken a lot about Evan Nielsen needing to recreate the goals. I don't think Bournemouth miss him very much.
No.
Maybe they do at times. There's chances that he'd score, but they are I'd argue they're a better team without Slanky in it. And they look really, really good.
Yeah.
And they just get better every week. And, teams will be looking at playing them and it not be an easy fixture.
Yeah.
One final game of the weekend. Another one that has actually improved down at the bottom. Leicester, 2-0 against Brighton.
They got a lot of luck here. I mean, but Brighton were fantastic. So I don't think they will have any idea how they didn't win this game. They were 2-0 up. And then, the Vardy goal, it's Dikit-over-Reed just takes a shot. And it's a massive deflection that couldn't have landed more perfectly for Vardy. And how Vardy still just looks like he did 8 years ago.
The 15th highest scorer in the Premier League history.
Really?
I think. Or maybe it's English.
I think is he the oldest scorer now as well?
Maybe. And he only started playing in the Premier League when he was 27. And he's 15th.
That's amazing.
And he's 9 away from being in the top 10 and overtaking Michael Owen.
Wow.
It's crazy.
But the ball just landed so perfectly, and then they concede again straight after that. I mean, Brighton have got to be pretty frustrated with that. There's a couple of games in a row now.
Yeah,
they were in a real sort of
Yeah.
great vein of form, and that seems to have fallen off a little bit.
It was a bit concerning. The Brighton manager said he thought the game was won at 80 minutes. And the players presumably thought it was won as well. And that doesn't feel great. You don't let the game win in the Premier League until the final whistle blows. We've seen it, and Ipswich.
But it felt like the Leicester players thought the game was gone as well at 80 minutes.
True.
And then it's just like, I feel like a great slice of luck. The way it falls to Vardy, but then that's the way the Premier League goes,
But then you've got that last bit. Once you concede the first one, you've got to fight.
And he puts Igor on, doesn't he? And it's just like, shore it up, lad.
Yeah.
And then
Ipswich could have done that, but it didn't work.
And he makes the mistake as well. So yeah, it's I mean, the thing is with Brighton is like they're all part of those middling teams, and it's like, do they want to push for Europe again?
Because it wasn't great for them.
No.
I mean, they do.
Yeah.
But if they perform like this and they drop points, like, I'd
love to see it. I know we talked about it there, but like a team like them or Forest or Bournemouth, I'd love to see them win the cup. Obviously boring to see a Man City or a Arsenal or a Liverpool. I mean, I'd like Arsenal to win a cup, but I think like those teams that are in that central space, they're not gonna go down. They're not gonna challenge for the top 4.
Yeah.
So go and win a cup.
I agree.
Yeah.
But they need to cut out these silly mistakes and thinking that the game is won with 10 minutes to go.
And what was that? Another stat I saw about Leicester have scored. I think they've scored in every home game. So a team that often I predict not to score a goal, but they've scored in every home game.
4 points from 2 for Ruud.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe slightly fortunate in the way that they won against West Ham and here, but he will absolutely take that. They're up to 16th, so they are 5 points above the drop. There is starting to be a little bit of a gap between those teams and the drop. However, of course, Wolves play tonight.
Yes.
West Ham Wolves. What is being deemed, and it very much sounds like it could be
El Sakiko.
That both West Ham and Wolves look like they are looking around for new managers.
Come on, Cunha.
Would not be surprised if this time tomorrow we have...
Is it at
West Ham?
It's at West Ham.
Yeah.
I bet they win that.
You think West Ham win it?
I don't know if that's what I predicted.
Yeah.
Right. FPL.
FPL, yes. Sorry, I'm just trying to check the
weather,
the predictions for this league, but they have changed the way that the predictions work.
Oh,
so
well, I'll talk about my FPL, which is exactly the same as yours, which is pretty dull. But so I mean, Palmer has saved me. I woke up Sunday morning, right? I'd had like 2 players had played, and Burmo 13 points. 4 points from
he
Rico.
Could have had more. Did you see the chance?
Yeah, I know. Cleared off the line. So Mbermo 13 points, Rico Lewis 4 points, and so from 2 players, about 8.5 points per player.
Yeah.
I'm like, here we go. This is a 100-point week, and then I'm on 65 or something like that, 67. With Cunha and 8 Nori mounting high enough tonight. So I would hope that Cunha, he hasn't scored for a couple of games.
No.
Come on.
I know. I got 57 as well. I had Rico Lewis.
Yeah. I couldn't believe that. I was like, Rico Lewis goal. I was like, oh my God, amazing. Yeah. He's been sent off.
Yeah. Palmer captain and Mbumo. Apart from that, I'm playing with 10 players this week because I had Mikalenko and Salah. Greaves didn't turn up and nor did Gabriel. So I'm playing with 10 players this week. 10, yeah. But I'm on 57. Basically, it was captaincy. If I captained the right player, I got a green arrow. If I didn't captain Palmer, I got a red arrow. So 2 to play tonight. Selling Isak to Jackson gets worse and worse by the day. But let's wait and see what happens with that. I'm just going to have to stick with it.
That's why I didn't make any transfers. So I've got 2 transfers. I think you got 3 transfers, haven't you?
Yeah, I got 3 now. I've already made one.
I've got, oh really?
I sold Mbumo.
For Rodgers. Take a bit of money. Trent's probably going to be coming in by the end of the weekend. Really?
As long as he gets through the Champions League. Him or Van Dijk. I need something defensively because my defense is running on absolute fumes at the moment.
I might go for like a Kirkes or a Munoz.
All right, do something different.
I know.
Stop copying me.
I'm not copying you.
Yeah, it's copying me.
I'm bored of copying you.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't want Rodgers. I think they've got too many fixtures. Not enough rotation. He played full 90 again, didn't he?
Yeah, he could have had returns in it.
I think I'm going to go for Enzo Fernandez.
Yeah, I might do that as well if Semenyo doesn't do anything this week. Predictions.
Yeah.
Know the score. Super Brew League. If you are not in it, it is the Super Brew app, the purple one. Code is Solo Fogs. Every week there's a competition. The winner of each week gets entered into the competition. I have really bad news. The name that I don't really want to have to read out again.
Oh no.
Yeah, they won.
Oh no.
They won round 14. So you know who it is.
Smack my
Something
Smack
69.
my pitch up. What is it called?
Scrimlord 69.
Scrimlords. Well done, Scrimmers.
So yes, you won. Congratulations. You'll be entered into the draw at the end.
So that was for the midweek one.
That was for the midweek one.
Okay, right, yeah.
And of course, there's one game to go.
Yeah.
Ida Hurt Kjelsen is top with only 11 this week.
Oh.
It's not been a good week, but I suppose there's no Everton in it. We're still 8 games.
Yeah.
But still, is top with 11. And second is Ams Bathek with 8.5. So it's unlikely that they catch them.
Where was I?
3.5. I'm going to scroll down and find us. Who comes first? We are scrolling.
Keep scrolling.
I got 2.5 points this week. Did you even do your predictions?
I did, yeah.
All right, where are
You
you?
had this last week, you couldn't find me.
Yeah, it's probably because you're higher up than I thought it was going to be. How did I get 2.5?
Because you don't know what you're talking about.
Well,
We shouldn't have a podcast, really.
you got 5. It's not much better.
I wish I'd got that 4 all right. So close. But do you get any points for that? For being close?
Yeah, that would be close.
Okay. Yeah, because if you're new to the podcast, welcome. But you join this Super Brew League because every single week the person who finishes top, they get entered into a draw.
Yeah.
And at the end of the season, we're gonna draw out one of the names from one of those winners, and you're gonna get a Premier League shirt of your choice.
Yes.
Well, it doesn't have to be Premier League.
Could be whatever.
Could be anything you want. So yeah, do join. It's quite good. It's good fun.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to do.
Predictions for next weekend.
Right. Okay. Hang on. Let me have a look.
First up was Arsenal-Everton.
Arsenal-Everton. I've gone for 2-0 Arsenal.
I've gone 2-0 as well.
Yeah. It's all this open. We're not creating enough from open play. Liverpool-Fulham.
2-0 as well.
3-1. Fulham are good, man.
Yeah, I mean, you still got them being beaten by 2 goals.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. But, yeah. Well, they're going to concede 3. But I do, Fulham will score a goal.
Fulham are good, so I have them conceding
Yeah,
more
Fulham
goals.
are good. Yeah, I know, yeah. 3-1. Newcastle-Leicester.
3-1 Newcastle.
I've gone Desmond.
No, this is not the Desmond.
No, this isn't, is it? I'm wrong on that one. Anyway.
Wolves-Ipswich.
3-1 to Wolves.
Will they have a new manager or not in charge of this game?
No.
Wow.
They still have O'Neill.
So you think they're going to win tonight then?
No.
You think they're going to lose tonight and then still
And
keep
keep
him
him?
and win 3-1 against Ipswich?
I don't know.
I've got 1-1.
Okay. 1-1.
Forest Villa.
I've gone for 2-1 Forest.
Desmond.
This is the Big Daniels household stuff here.
Yeah, this is. Which I don't pick.
Fiance and mother.
I don't pick sides.
Okay. Wow. It's going to be tense in your house. So what did you go for? Desmond?
Desmond 2-2.
Okay, this is the Desmond. Brighton, the M25 derby, Brighton Palace.
2-1 Brighton.
3-2 Brighton.
Goals galore.
Goals galore, love it.
João Pedro to get anything?
No.
Probably not.
City versus Man United.
3-1.
3-1 me too.
I don't think that's right though.
Do you not?
I think City are not that good.
So you don't think...
I mean, I've done it now.
3-1. Southampton Tottenham.
4-1 Spurs. No, you haven't.
I've gone 2-1 Southampton.
No.
This is the game.
They're not going to win.
I got vibes. This is the game. Southampton 2, Tottenham 1. Bournemouth versus West Ham. 3-0 Bournemouth.
2-1 Bournemouth. Because I
If
think
it's
West
a new
Ham
manager-
are going to have a new manager.
So you think Wolves are going to win tonight?
Yeah.
Which means it's the butterfly effect. So
Yeah.
there'll be a new manager.
But then I've predicted Wolves not to beat Ipswich.
Okay.
You've missed one. Chelsea-Brentford.
Oh, yeah. 4-2 Chelsea.
3-2.
3-2.
Sunday night under the lights.
Oh, it's going to be a banger.
I can't wait.
That could be our game of the week. Oh, no, we'll probably start Manchester Derby next week, I imagine.
Well, let's see.
We shall see.
That will be my prediction of it.
It's been a pleasure.
It has been a pleasure, as always.
Thank you so much for listening and for tuning in. Do please leave your comments. We love replying to them. If you haven't left comments before, like we always reply, you can leave comments on the Spotify. We got loads of comments on there, which was lovely. So yeah, 300 likes. Let's get to 3,000 subscribers. Want to celebrate that for next week.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Thank you very much.
See you later.
See ya.